is July 26, 2019. I am Jacob Meerhoff, and I am interviewing Charlie Lewis at the Newkirk Public Library, Newkirk, Oklahoma. I am a member of the Newkirk 4-H Go-Getters, and this is for the Oklahoma Military Hall of Fame project. What motivated you to join the military?
Good question. I joined the military because I needed some schooling. And I joined at a later age, at the age of 27, because I wanted to be an electrician. And the Navy offers industrial electrical schooling.
Tell me a little about your time in basic training.
Don't do it. No. Basic training was in Chicago, Illinois, Waukegan. And they put you there and you go through 8 weeks of them trying to break you or make you.
What was your primary job after training?
That's a really good one. Actually, I did a lot of cooking. You spend a certain amount of time on your command doing cooking, cleaning, buffing floors, wiping dust off. But actually, you have to put in that time before you can actually begin your trade.
Were you deployed? If so, where and for what?
Yes, I was deployed. I got in on the later part of Desert Storm, and they do what they call a 6-month Mediterranean cruise, and you go out with a fleet. So there's a whole bunch of you. And because my ship was a supply ship, we'd go to port, pick up supplies, and then we would do what they call unreps out at sea. So we would pull alongside aircraft carriers, and they take a black powder gun and they shoot a small string across to the other ship, and then they pull a cable across, they attach cables, and they got guys that run flags, and then we had a post that run up and down. We tie onto the pallet of goods, raise it up, and it would dolly over, and then just kind of seesaw back and forth.
What was the most demanding part about your deployment?
I don't really recall anything being super demanding. Keeping the ship basically up and running.
Where did you serve the majority of time in service?
I had basically what they call a split tour. I spent 2 years roughly in Norfolk, and then I finished out my tour in Ingleside, Texas. I spent some time in Charleston, South Carolina, and I run up and down the East Coast on my last boat.
What rank are you most proud to have earned, and why?
Well, in the service, you get ranked every 9 months. So you start out as an E1, and then as you progress through your time in the military, you can go as high as an E5 for your first 4 years. E4 was as high as I made it.
Which medals or citations are you most honored to have received, and why?
That's a tough one. Well, I have basically, I think, 2 medals. One for my Asian tour, and one is called a Navy Achievement Medal, believe it or not, for electrical safety. I was the guy that if you brought anything on board the ship, I checked it to make sure it was safe, so you didn't electrocute yourself.
Tell me about some of the special people you met.
Oh, wow. There's a bunch. I met people from all over the country. Most of the guys I hung out with, though, were from Texas and Louisiana. But I knew people from New York, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Virginia. You pretty much name a state, I probably met them.
What was the best and worst military food you were served, and why?
Well, that's kind of the good thing about the Navy. My dad even had to compliment on that. He was in the Army. They eat a lot of MREs. In the Navy, you get 3 meals a day, and they're all cooked.
Tell me a funny story you experienced that could only happen in the military.
Wow. Well, funny story. I guess we'll go with my first command, and they got freezers, huge freezers, and every shift somebody'd have to go down there and flush the coils with salt water. And me being in refrigeration before I ever got in the military, I was like, are you kidding me? Because they make tools that will back pressure your refrigerant so that you don't need to put salt water on them. Anyway, there's just the guys that had to go do the job. They were friends of mine. They used to hate that. And things today are a lot different than they were back then. They got more modern technology now. So as far as funny, there's a lot of things. You go to clubs and stuff when you hit bars. I spent some time in Greece, Italy, Africa. Got to meet the ambassador of Africa. I had made sailor of the quarter. And I was the youngest, I would say the youngest, the lower ranking person that got to go. And the ambassador, he was from Maryland. He was actually a farm boy. He was. We had a very good conversation. But when you walk in, they ask you if you would like a smoke or a drink, and everybody else was quiet, and I was like, "What do you got?" But he had it going on. He had waitresses and servants, and you sit down at the table, or people come out and brought you your food. It was a very enjoyable visit.
How does your military experience affect your life today?
Well, there's nothing I can't do. Electrically, industrially, I got what I went in there to get, the knowledge, the schooling. I never really put it to life in reality. I had so many trades that I could practically do anything, and I got a good paying job doing something else, so I do electrical work in my spare time.
Have you kept in contact with anyone you served with?
Unfortunately, no. I do have a black book with a lot of old numbers and names, but as far as staying in touch with anyone, no.
Do you have any other stories?
Well, glad to be back in Oklahoma. I would probably say there's a jillion of them. Most of them are memories. Some of it is on camera somewhere. I've been divorced 2 or 3 times. It's kind of a military thing too. As you go out to sea, somebody else is seeing your wife. They call him Jody. And when you come back, he's gone. But yes, unfortunately, in the military, there's a lot of divorces, so to speak.
Well, thank you for serving and thank you for coming here.
You're welcome.